Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear, and on the mics with me this week is the Z-Man. What is up, Z?
I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Ba, ba, ba.
Would you like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company?
I would do that as well.
All right. On the other mic is the mighty Ganthor. What is up, Ganthor?
What's up, bud?
Good to see you're awake.
Yeah, we missed you last week. What happened?
I don't know. I woke up. I mean, I passed out somehow.
Did you get roofied again?
I don't think so.
How do you
What?
fall asleep before 9 o'clock?
Dude, obviously you don't have kids.
Obviously.
I don't. I was speechless for a second. Literally speechless. It's never happened to you?
No. I don't think I
Really?
can fall asleep before 9 o'clock.
It's not like go to
Unless I was-
bed for the night sleep. It's like power nap sleep.
Like, are you in your bed when you go to bed? Are your shoes
No.
on still? Are you on the
Yeah,
couch?
I'm fully dressed. I've got keys in my pocket, stuff like that. I'm just like,
That's a good indicator. Like, yeah, it was always like if you're passed out with your shoes on, that means you're fair game for fucking with. So if you got keys in your pocket, that's another good one.
yeah. I mean, it's putting the kids to bed. They want to read to me a little bit of the book, so I'm just laying there, close my eyes. The next thing I know, don't know where I am or how late it is.
Children will sap you of your strength.
Yeah,
This is what
Yeah.
happens.
they'll sap you of everything.
Of everything. It's like
Stand
a
by my
vortex.
decision. No kids.
There you go. All right, Ganthor.
Who's our show brought to people by?
Try that. You
Right.
want to try that again?
For Listeners Program brought to you by,
Yeah, who's bringing us the Four Listeners Program?
I don't know, who's the do we need like an official soft drink of the For Listeners Program, Ganthor?
I guess
Rondo.
I don't drink soda anymore, so
Okay. Well, so this week something must be done about what? Corporate sponsorships?
corporate sponsorships.
There we
yes.
go. That was a long lead into that fucking something must be
It was
done about.
pretty terrible, but that's par for the course with us.
Yeah, it's like playing t-ball, and you just fucking whiffed it every time.
Well,
What's your beef with corporate sponsorships there, Ganthor?
I was at the grocery store a couple weeks ago, walking by, and I noticed you guys. You were familiar with the Philly staple Entenmann's, right?
Of course.
They make
Mhm.
pastries and more pastries. Well, I saw that they had a box of donuts, chocolate covered donuts, and I noticed on this box that their chocolate covered donuts are the official donuts of the Harlem Globetrotters.
The official
'Cause-
donuts of the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
Because when I'm buying my donuts, that goes into the decision I have of which
Ex-
donuts to buy. I don't want to buy like the ones that are by the generals.
That's
Generals
right.
are for losers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, you'll be shocked to know that the Generals are no more.
Oh, really?
Well,
I
at
would be
least
shocked.
I
the
am shocked.
Globetrotters did not play the Generals. They played the All-Stars
From which city?
from all over the world.
World All-Stars?
The World
I think-
All Stars.
I think that's what they're called.
And
I
were
don't
they
remember.
were they all eating Entenmann's donuts?
Funny that you should ask that because the donuts did play a part in the Globetrotters show because I went to the Globetrotters also a couple weeks ago. That's how I know all this stuff. They brought out donuts and they mentioned donuts and the brand name of the donuts.
Yeah, but that doesn't play in any other city because no one knows who Entenmann's is out on the West Coast.
I guess. I don't know.
Is that true? Is Entenmann's kind of a Northeast type of deal?
Yeah, it's
Isn't
like
it?
a
It's
Philly
like tasty
region.
cake.
It's not just the Philly region because I've had Entenmann's in back home growing up, so it's definitely a Northeast thing at least.
Well, maybe a little bit larger than Philadelphia, but it's not a national thing.
Well, then
I
that
feel
would
like
be
we should do some homework on this.
yeah, yeah.
It just goes back to what Z said. That why is there an official donut of anything? Donuts are not a health food. They're not a staple. They're
So that's the interesting thing. Like this is a basketball team, and what does a donut have to do with basketball? What does it have to do with being an athlete? What does it have to do with anything?
eating healthfully and setting a good example for children.
Right. Like I can understand like if they had an official sneaker,
sneakers or uniforms or sporting goods, those types of things. Yeah, I can understand that.
I could get that. Like, the is it Spalding that's the official basketball of the NBA?
Probably Spalding or Wilson.
Wilson.
Or who knows?
Like that makes sense to me because it's something that you could say, well, if I want to have the same basketball that the NBA players use, then I need to get this basketball.
Right.
Or these sneakers, or that jersey, or shirt.
Right.
Shorts.
Sure. But a donut.
Yeah.
A donut
It makes no sense.
A donut makes absolutely no sense.
You want to know what else I discovered?
What else?
On my Harlem Globetrotter journey.
Ooh, what else? What else?
Afterwards, we went to a place for lunch. We went to Xfinity Live after the Globetrotter show for food.
Wait. What is Xfinity Live? Xfinity is a Comcast service.
Right. So Xfinity Live is this. The best way to describe it is it's a giant frat party sports bar with like 4 restaurants tacked onto the end of it.
All right.
All around it.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, large, gigantic sports restaurant that's made up of 5 sports restaurants. So anyway, it's a place they have food. Guess who the official document provider is for Xfinity Live?
I'm sorry, what? The official what? Document provider?
Yeah.
What is a document provider?
Ricoh.
You mean like the
Like a photocopier?
like a copy machine thing?
Like Xerox or Ricoh or
Yeah.
Canon. Yeah. Ricoh is the official document imaging provider of Xfinity Live.
Of a sports bar.
Yes, it was advertised on their scrolling LED scoreboard, whatever those things are called.
So, okay.
RTs.
So all that means is that they got some sort of Ricoh gave Xfinity Live some sort of deal to put copiers in their offices, or in the headquarters, like right across at the Wells Fargo Center. And for that, they wanted the advertisement to say, hey, we bought Ricoh copiers. My question is, who in the hell who's walking into Xfinity Live, and keeping in mind that Xfinity Live is just a giant fraternity party, what in the hell are they advertising copiers for?
Because someone's going to be in there and they're going to be like, I'm in the market for a new copier.
Who?
What's the one that Xfinity Live uses again?
Who's going to do that?
They're going to be like, oh, Xerox. Xerox makes copiers because that's the word.
Yes, whether or not you see it in Xfinity Live or any other non-document imaging-based location is not going to sway your judgment.
Now,
or even the sales process. How is that? Like, would you buy anything from Ricoh?
Ricoh would not be a word in my vocabulary if I was if that was my job.
Does it
even if it was your job from a technology perspective? Why would the fact that they're the official supplier of Xfinity Live influence you at all? I can't. No, it can't. Maybe if you were at FedEx Kinko's and it said Ricoh, the official document imaging provider of FedEx Kinko's, that kind of makes some sense because you're like, oh, FedEx Kinko's, yeah, they probably know how to do document stuff, printing and scanning. Okay, or maybe a printer whose office you happen to go to, but not Xfinity Live.
It was probably some lawyer or some marketing person. They're like, let's put this into all of our contracts now that if they do this deal with us, they have to advertise this somewhere on their company. I'm sure there was probably a discount in the sale for it. It's the same thing as like you ever drive by people's houses and they're getting their driveways redone or their siding redone and they got to put that little stupid sign up in the fucking front.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saying, I bet you that's the same deal. It's like, we'll give you 10% off if you put this sign up and leave it up for another 6 months after we do the work.
Yep. Yeah.
Could be.
If
I don't get anything for it, I just take it and throw it in the trash.
Right,
yeah,
but I mean, otherwise you're basically getting a discount to advertise for them on their behalf.
Right, but still, like, how much is that really worth?
Well, I would think for like doing your blacktop or your siding, I think that's actually probably valuable.
No, that I agree. I just like like if you're at Ricoh and you're like, yeah, we're going to give them a $50,000 discount.
Yeah, I don't know.
You will never see a return on that money.
Nor will you ever really know what the effectiveness is of the Ricoh copiers at Xfinity. It's not,
right,
it's like, I mean, if somebody can see how well your driveway was sealed or what your siding looks like, at least it's visible, and the advertising is right there, and you can correlate the two. What the fuck does Xfinity Live have to do with copiers?
Nothing at all.
Nothing
That's
at all.
what I'm saying. It makes no sense.
No sense.
Just like donuts and the Harlem Globetrotters. It makes no sense.
Makes
Why
no
are companies doing this?
Those are two of the most fucked up things that you could possibly try to connect.
Right. Right? Like Kia, is it Kia, I think? The official car of the NBA? I don't think so.
That's hilarious because there's no NBA player that's going to fit in a fucking Kia.
Actually,
Right.
I think LeBron does, but I don't know how.
I'm sure he's a stretch.
Do you
Kia.
remember
Stretch
Shaq
Kia.
selling Buick?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you look at him and he's crammed in there, and okay, it's Shaq crammed into a car that's not going to do anything for me.
Where's
it's
the
different
incentive?
when you see the athletes with the Beats sponsorship or Smart Water or whatever, all those things that you would presumably go out and acquire and drink or eat because it's cheap and disposable, or put on your head to listen so you could be like your athlete, but not a car.
Well, and the shoes too. Don't forget. I mean, these athletes.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Could you say that Air Jordans started that trend?
Yeah. Well, no, absolutely.
Or I get no technical. What are the Chucks?
The Chuck
I
Taylors,
can't even
the
think
Converse.
of the guy's name. Yeah, Chuck Taylors and Converse, right? That's probably the first, but Air Jordans are probably the ones that made it go crazy.
Absolutely.
People were getting killed for their Air Jordans,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, because everyone wanted to be like Mike. Yeah.
That makes sense because you can go buy the shoes and you can pretend to be that guy. Nobody's going to go buy a Kia because LeBron James is selling Kias.
Yeah.
Or promoting Kias.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to go buy Rico because Xfinity Live's doing it. And the only reason you're going to buy Entenmann's is because Krispy Kreme isn't there.
I do love the Entenmann's, the Crumb Donuts and the Pop'ems.
Yeah.
Crumb Donuts,
I mean,
the ones that got little rabbit turds on it.
Yeah, yeah.
They're tasty donuts, but they don't need to be the official donut of the Globetrotter.
Right, the Globetrotters aren't going to help me buy an Entenmann's donut. They're tasty enough on their own. Where do you guys come down on like stadium naming rights?
I think it's stupid.
Yeah, they need to go back to the old school, name them after people or concepts like RFK or the Vet or the Spectrum.
The fucking Garden.
Madison Square
Madison
Garden.
Square.
We're Boston Garden. Yeah. Now
Boston.
what is it now? It's called the TD something Garden.
TD Bank, but and it's the same thing though. Like the banks get sold and bought, so they keep changing the fucking name.
Yeah, do you know what the replacement to the Spectrum has gone through? How many names, Spear?
Well, it was the Core State Center, then it was
Then
the First Union Center, then it was the Wachovia Center, and now it's the Wells Fargo Center.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I can't even recall what the name is right now of whatever the Spectrum 2.
Right, and then you just
Wells
stop
Fargo
using
Center.
that name and you use whatever the colloquial name is. You go back to what it used to be called.
Okay, the FU Center.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the most memorable name for it because it
Yep.
doesn't have another name. Like, I think it's officially the Wells Fargo Center.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Dumbass name. Like every other stadium at least has the real name and then the sponsor with it. Like 3Com, was it Candlestick Park?
Yeah.
Or did
Or
they
like
change that to 3Com?
what was it called? Like it's called Invesco Field at Mile High or something like that. It's
I don't
the
even
Denver
know.
Broncos Stadium.
It's wrong. It should have a name a permanent name and then a sponsorship.
Yeah. Yeah,
a modifier to it.
I'm grateful that they haven't fucked with like Fenway Park or Wrigley Field.
You know they're going to.
I'm waiting
They're going.
for it.
Where do the Mets play?
City Field.
City?
Yeah.
It doesn't have another name.
No, it's City Field. I mean, it used to be Shea Stadium, right? Shea
Yeah.
Stadium was the old stadium that they knocked down, and you just said you were going to Shea. Now it's like you're going to City. That's
For as long as City is around.
right.
What's the place in Camden called? I only ever knew it by the Tweeter Center. Can you even think of the name now?
Oh no, I have no idea. You mean the music arena?
Yeah.
Best I
It was
remember is
Tweeter when I was there.
Yeah, but that was 3 names ago. I forget what it's called
Right.
now.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Nobody can think of the name. They're just the Tweeter Center, the FU Center. Nobody called it the Core State Spectrum. It was just the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Or Veterans Stadium.
Yep. The
or,
vet. Yeah.
Like the Link is kind of a nickname that'll probably outlast Lincoln Financial. But
Yep. Yeah. I was about to ask. I mean, like the Citizens Bank Park and Lincoln Financial Field. Like Citizens Bank Park doesn't have a nickname. It's just Citizens Bank.
So, but it needs one. It needs a real name.
Well, Citizens Bank Park, I think that's why they do this, right? If there's no other name, then that's what you think of. You think of the brand when you go to the ballpark.
Right, but that's only good for the first mover.
Look at what happened with the Houston Astros when they opened up their new ballpark. Do you remember what the original name of the Houston Astros?
The Astrodome.
Well, after the Astrodome, the newest one.
No.
Do you remember what the name of it was?
No.
Enron Field.
Oh. Yeah, that's not a good choice.
Nope.
So they had to rip down all that signage right quick.
Yeah. Anyway, they need real names for things. People, honorable concepts like Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Z, could you imagine what riots would go on in Boston if the Red Sox decided to rename Fenway Park?
I assume people would get over it at some point, but yeah, I'm sure there'd be a shitload of people protesting that.
I mean, that's.
No, Boston fans would never get over that. Come on.
I mean, I got to believe that Chicago fans and Boston fans would riot in the streets.
I mean, who gets to decide that? I guess the owners get to decide it, or I mean, it's the city gets to decide it because like the city has to pays for a lot of that shit, right?
Well, that's
for
the
building
that's
of the stadiums.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, well, depending on the deal that the city has with the team or the owner. Sometimes the owners will privately finance. Sometimes they'll do some sort of public bond in order to finance the stadium. Either way, there's usually some sort of sale to a corporation for hundreds of millions of dollars for the naming rights to the stadium to subsidize the rest of the construction cost, and that's usually spread out over a few years. Like you buy the naming rights for some period of time. I think they start with like 20 years or something like that. Lincoln Financial paid $139.6 million for 20 years worth of sponsorship. That's an average of nearly $7 million a year, and the deal runs through 2022. So at least they got some sort of some continuity there. For the record, Citi Field, $400 million over 20 years, and the deal expires in 2028. That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Oh, here it is. This is the thing that drives me crazy too. Is like you have to jump through hoops in order to keep some sort of continuity with what was there before. This one is now Sports Authority Field at Mile High. Sports Authority not in existence anymore. They paid $60 million. $60 million, and then they went bankrupt.
Well, it's probably because deals like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's nuts. So at least you're going to get Citizens Bank Park and Lincoln Financial Field through 2029 and 2022. So that's nice for the city of Philadelphia, at least.
Are you going to actually bank with Citizens Bank because they sponsored the name of the Phillies baseball park?
Not unless that gets me like cheaper tickets.
So ask the question a different way. Like if you're an enormous Eagles fan.
You sound like a suit.
I know.
Just put your suit on.
Yeah, I tied my tie up real tight too. So if you're a huge Eagles fan, would you shop at the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles?
You mean Acme?
No.
Acme.
I used to
you shop at the supermarket that's closest to you.
Well, would you go out of your way?
No.
If I was equidistant between two?
If you were equidistant between
asking?
two and you had the choice, would you go to the official supermarket of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Are the Eagles doing good that year or no? Because that's probably going to influence my choice.
How about if you had a choice between Coke or Pepsi? Would you choose the official soft drink of the Philadelphia Eagles?
No, I'd choose Coke every time.
Well, right.
You choose the one that tastes better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just don't see I don't see these sponsorships being
They don't seem worth it.
No. So here's another one. This was nearly a year ago. the Eagles signed a partnership with Toyota, their first official car partner since 2008.
What happened between 2008 and 2016?
Well, that's the question, right? Well, I mean, if they didn't have an official car, why the need to have one now?
Yeah.
Well, everyone's been taking the bus, so we should probably get an official car company so we can
Right.
we can get here faster.
Right, yeah.
I did get a Citi credit card just to get better access to Ticketmaster tickets.
Dude, that's straight out of their commercial with what's her name?
I don't watch commercials.
Yeah, but she's a singer.
Beyonce.
This girl is on fire. What's her name?
Oh, Alicia Keys.
Yeah, there you go.
The other thing that really drives me crazy are sponsorships for college football bowl games.
The Tostitos Bowl?
No, it's not just the Tostitos Bowl. It's the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl presented by FedEx.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a sponsorship sponsored by somebody else.
Yeah, here's the other problem is that there are like hundreds of goddamn bowl games now. So it's like the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl or the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It's crazy.
The Russell Sports Athletic Bowl.
The Beef O'Brady's Bowl.
What the fuck is a Beef O'Brady?
What?
It's a Beef O'Brady's is a.
Sounds like something I gave your mom.
I missed you, Ganthor.
Yeah, you did.
But I mean, these are the ones. These are the ones we're talking about here. Here's one: the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl.
So now it's a cause and a sponsorship?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's crazy. Like it used to be that there was the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl, and then they added the Fiesta Bowl. That used to be it for the most part, right? The national championship was one of those three games. As long as we're going to bitch about corporate sponsorships, we should
have one.
We should have one. We need an official something of the Four Listeners program.
I'm with you.
But it's got to be something.
Condom.
It's got to be something
Condom.
that's a what?
Condom.
Well, we could do the official condom of the Four Listeners program, but it's got to be something like if somebody listens to the program, they'll go like it's got to be like our shoe for a basketball player.
We can have an official microphone.
An official microphone, good.
Skype could be the official communication system.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That would make sense.
That would
People
make
would be
sense.
like, "Oh, the sound of your show is terrible. We should not use Skype."
Right. What else should we have as our official things? The official hemorrhoid cream of the Four Listeners program?
I've needed that a couple times.
Yeah.
Recently.
Some cooling wipes.
Some wipes. The official wet wipes.
Wet wipe.
Who would Spear? You use condoms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you choose?
I guess I would have to go with Trojan.
Yeah.
Trojan seems to be my brand of choice.
But why?
Well, because they have so much variety that Ganthor does not like.
What?
You don't like the
that's
variety.
Right. I didn't like all those varieties.
You don't like the variety. The twisted, the heat, like the one that have the lube with it adds a little bit of heat for her pleasure.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You didn't like any of that, Ganthor, so they can't
No,
be our
but
official sponsor.
I would let them sponsor me.
Well, there you go. Yeah, remember the variety was the spice of life. You weren't a fan at all.
Yeah. I'm just a miserable person.
There you go. What else could we have as official?
Beer.
What would be the official beer?
It'd probably be like a Goza because it's salty.
Is there like a bitter beer that we could?
Spears got bitter beer face.
I mean, what if this would get you rich and famous? Like, what if you did like an actual commercial, like a beer commercial, Ganthor, and people would see you?
Oh, I would do that.
Yeah. And then you would be known. You would be forever affiliated with that beer.
Like the Budweiser guys. Was that?
So what do we learn? What do we learn about corporate sponsorships, about advertising types of things? Z-Man, what do we learn?
We need an official underwear company.
An official underwear of the Four Listeners program?
Because then people would have to see my underwear, and I get to show my underwear in public.
My God, that's the last thing we need. Ganthor, what did you learn?
Shit.
God damn it, Ganthor.
Oh, darn Darn it.
Every show.
It does. You spring it on me, and I don't have time to prepare.
Take notes while we're talking.
That's a good idea. Bic could be our official pen supplier. Wait, no.
Do you know that in England, Bic is an eponym for a pen?
You mean
it's
they
like
just give me a Bic?
Yeah. You have a Bic I can use? Did you know that eponym is the term for that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a real word you were using there. Sometimes you make up words as you go along.
I don't know if I'm saying that word right.
I don't think you are either. It's like you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
It means what I think. It means what I think it means. I just don't think I'm saying it right.
What did I learn? I learned that Z still can't say words, and I'm not going to buy donuts because the Harlem Globetrotters have an official donut. It's just
you got to buy donuts because you're a big fatty and you just want to eat donuts.
Right.
You want some donuts, fatty, fat?
That's right. So if you want some donuts, why don't you go ahead and let us know on the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. You check out the show on Stitcher Radio, on iTunes, or on Google Play. Just search for 4 Listeners and we'll pop right on up, and you can tweet at us on the official Twitter account of the 4 Listeners program at 4Listeners. We thank you for checking us out this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.
I'd like to buy the world of Coke and keep it company. That's the real.
Official Twitter provider?
The official Twitter provider.
I hate when you use the unofficial Twitter company.
Did you get some comment?
How did I know you were going to say that? I shouldn't have even said anything. I should have just said I had someone come in my eye. I mean,
I hope you're recording.